Hello again, Card Media. It's RJ back with another video. Let's get to it. Today's random Mike Schmidt item of the day. I have here a simple PSA 10 graded 1988 score Mike Schmidt card. Um, Not particularly expensive if you get it on eBay when you can find it. It's towards the end of his career. It's certainly not his rookie, so there's no giant premium on the rookie card price. I think a PSA 10 rookie goes for 150,000 these days. If you can find that, if you want to spend the money. But anyway, uh, I completed the Topps. There are the PSA set registries for the basic set, which is 47 cards. Contained within that is a PSA set registry for the Topps basic run of 17 cards. So, but this is part of that Topps. They're not Topps, but the basic PSA set registry for Mike Schmidt of 47 cards. And when I was building my PSA set registry, I couldn't find this card, and I was trying to figure out why. And then when I finally went on the pop report, I realized why. There's a couple cards of Mike Schmidt that are on that set registry that are very limited. The 1985 leaf and the 1988 leaf. There's less than 25 each of those at a PSA 10 level. So those were hard to find, but I have them now. This one here was hard to find too. When I finally found it, I got it for almost nothing. It was, well, not almost nothing. It was like $30 or $40, something like that. And then I realized the pop report on this guy is only 51 right now. And every once in a while, I'll still look on eBay or somewhere, and I'll see it up for sale. And what amazes me is that it's selling for still somewhere between $35, $50. And I remember the 89 leaf, or so the 88 leaf and the 85 leaf, they're going, because the pop report is so low, sometimes as high as $300 to $400. So I started thinking to myself, well, gee, if these cards are really only a pop report of 51, and they're only selling for a couple bucks, why don't I get a couple more? Almost like an investment, so to speak. So I did. This one is actually not from my PSA set registry. That one is somewhere else. This one is another one that I purchased when I saw it go up for sale. Because again, they're only selling for $35, $50. And there's only 51 of them in existence. And I've got 3 now. So you could say I'm cornering the market, so to speak, kind of like that guy Dave out in LA or Nevada in Las Vegas. But I didn't want to me, it's almost like an investment thing. If you're going to pick up a card that's hard to find, the price can't help but go up. And I do know that there's other people out there who have the PSA set registry. I think there's 88 active people doing it. Well, they're going to want this card. They're going to need to have it because it's part of the PSA set registry. So hopefully that was just a wise use of my money as an investment. We'll see how that goes. My random baseball item of the day is this here little subset from Upper Deck 92, the Home Run Heroes. When Upper Deck came out in '89, it took the collecting world by storm because of the price and the quality of the photos. They came out with a set of cards that cost, I think it was $1.99 per pack or something like that, when you could still get a pack of Topps with the bubble gum in it for a quarter or 50 cents. And people were telling Upper Deck, no one's ever going to spend that much money on cards. Boy, were those detractors wrong. And then Upper Deck continued to take the world by storm going forward. And they started putting out little subsets as well, which I love to death. The Heroes subsets are readily inserted starting in the 1990 update with Reggie. All these little guys, fan fest kind of things, crazy little subsets all over the place. Each one cooler than the next as far as I'm concerned. And the glory years of those subsets, in my opinion, were from 89 through 93. After you get past 93, it gets a little crazy. But up until 93, it was really cool. And I'm trying to get back all those subsets. I had them as I was younger, trying to get them back now. This set simply highlights one person from each team that Upper Deck felt was the epitome of the team as a home run hitter, a power hitter for that team. Well, like I said, one from every team. You can see here, this is interesting, the choice here. They chose Jay Buhner over Junior because I think Jay Buhner was known as nothing but home runs back in the day. So, Matt Noakes. So this is my random baseball collectible of the day. Today's trivia question. I'm going to show you the prize first. It's an interesting thing. I had never seen this before until I got it in a break once. It is something produced by a company called Enterplay. All right, down there in the bottom it says Enterplay. And it's from 2009. And what it was this company, I guess, got a license from Major League Baseball to make these as fan packs for something. This is actually card number 41 down there in the corner, if you can see it. Let's see if I can't get... There it is, number 41 it is. And this is Marianna Rivera, obviously the greatest relief pitcher of all time. You know, you don't have to take my word for it. The numbers speak for themselves. And it's an odd thing. It's called a standee. Basically, it folds up. Take a look down here. If you want, you can see you were supposed to fold the card and fold the tabs back so that it would stand on its own and show him in a pitching motion. Now, I'm not sure how many people ever did that to their little standee cards, but certainly I wasn't about to do that. And here it is. And this is the prize for a trivia question. Answer. Tell me the year, the person, and the team, the first time, since Marianna Rivera was a reliever, tell me the first time a relief pitcher won an MVP award in baseball. Tell me who he was, what team he played for, and what year did he do it. And I'll send you that Rivera card. Now, what am I showing off today? Talked about this before. I want to have a little fun today. Showing off a few player cards that we all know, most of us know, and show them in their normal setting, and then a later card of theirs showing them in a uniform you weren't expecting. People we forgot played for other teams. So we'll start here. Start with your Yogi Berra. Now this is not going to be earth-shattering to most of you. Yogi Berra, Hall of Fame catcher for the Yankees. Eventually, though, he got traded to the Mets late in his career. And here he is as a catcher for the Mets. It's hard to picture Yogi Berra in a Mets uniform, but there he was. It's not particularly hard because he was also the Mets manager in '73 when they went to the World Series against the A's. So a lot of people do know that Yogi was a member of the Mets. So this one's not really freaky. Along the same lines is a guy we all know. That would be Willie Mays. Now, this is not an original 53 Topps. This is from his 53 Archives set. So we all know Willie Mays is a member of the Giants. First as a member of the New York Giants, later as a member of the San Francisco Giants. But Willie also ended up on the Mets. Here he is in his 73 Topps card. His Mets uniform. He ended up his career in New York with the Mets. So it's odd sometimes to see him there. And you have players that we know hung around for a long time, but then towards the end of their career, bounced around. A good example of that is Steve Carlton for the Phillies. Now, we all know Carlton started with the Cardinals and went to the Phillies. But he also played with a number of other teams after he left the Phillies and ended up with the Twins. This here is his 1988 Fleer card. If you look on the back, you can see he also played for the Giants, the White Sox, and the Indians. So he ended up his career with Twins. So it's hard, but you sometimes forget about a lot of these older players when the twilight is mooning, they start shopping around their services looking to hang on a little. I want to show you this one here. Willie Mccovey, for those who know baseball, is famous for being a Giant for a long time. But people forget that in the middle of his career, towards the later years, but not at the end, he jumped to the Padres for a couple of years. Here's his 75 Topps Padres card. It's just odd seeing Willie Mccovey in a uniform other than the Giants. I always thought that was kind of cool. Then a couple other notable ones. Boog Powell, first baseman for the Orioles for a long time. Great home run hitter. Later in his career, he jumped ship, went to the Indians. Again, it's odd seeing people like Boog Powell, who you automatically associate with the Orioles, being on other teams. You also got players who shopped around when they got past their glory years, but ended up back with their teams. Like Tony Perez was a Red for the longest time, and he ended up back with the Reds at the end of his career. But in the middle, he shopped around his services. He stopped by for the Phillies briefly, but a lot of people forget that after the Reds, he went to the Expos. And even I have a hard time remembering Tony Perez as an Expo, but he was. And then you got Santo from the Cubs, who, in a fitting move, went to his crosstown team, the White Sox, for a little bit. This one surprised me. I was looking for all kinds of people I could say jumped ship. Here's a Frank Robinson 72 card. We all know these. If you know baseball, you know he started with the Reds and then jumped to the Orioles. And you also know that he eventually became the Indians player manager in the mid-70s. What I didn't remember or had forgotten or didn't know, he also played for a couple other teams before he ended up with the Indians. Here he is with the Angels. I really didn't know he was with the Angels, but not just the Angels. If you look here, it says he went and spent 1972 with the Dodgers briefly. And then 73 was with the Angels. This is a 74 Topps card. I was like freaking out when I saw this in a way. I was like, well, really? You don't associate Frank Robinson on the Angels nor on the Dodgers. You just don't put that connection together. But there you go. And Steve Carlton was a good example of a player who you remember on two specific teams. Steve Carlton was a Cardinal and he was a Philly. You forget the other teams. So true with Andre Dawson. Here's Dawson's 78 Topps card. We know he started with the Expos. We know he went on to the Cubs. But how many people know or even remember that he finished with the Marlins? Look at Andre Dawson, his 1997 Fleer card, running for a fly ball wearing a Marlins uniform. That's just mind-boggling. A couple other late career move people. I have a Juan Marichal from the Giants, long-time Giant, until suddenly traded to the Boston Red Sox. And Ralph Kiner, long-time Pirate, great, who eventually ended up on the Indians. It's just odd to see Ralph Kiner as anything but a Pirate. It doesn't make any sense to me sometimes. Dave Parker is similar to Carlton, and then he bounced around to a couple different teams late in his career. We all know him from the Pirates. But here he is as a member of the Brewers late in his career. Same with Billy Williams, longtime Cub outfielder, Hall of Famer. Billy Williams on the Cubs, also on the Oakland Athletics in '76 or the '76 tops. So some of the more interesting ones, though, we're gonna step away from players for a second and get to some interesting manager ones. So here's a very early Tony Larussa on the Kansas City Athletics, believe it or not, before he would go on to become a Hall of Fame manager for the Oakland Athletics and obviously the Cardinals later on. I think he's with the White Sox now. It's just, you forget sometimes that most of these managers were players too in their past. Maybe not Major League Baseball, but certainly, they were players. And that one, is just fun to look at, old Tony. You got Gil Hodges. Now, everybody knows, if you know your baseball history, Gil Hodges was the manager of the '69 Mets when they won the World Series and shocked the world that year. We all know him from the Brooklyn Dodgers days. I did not realize he was also a manager for the expansion Washington Senators in the day. This one shocked me when I saw this card. Gil Hodges, manager of the Senators. Now, the other fun thing to look at is not that you had managers who were players, but interesting teams that they played on. Lou Piniella, famous manager, the Reds, the Mariners, a couple other teams. I think he was with the Cubs briefly. In 1969, there was an expansion team. There was a Major League expanded in '69 again. You had the Expos pop up, the Padres pop in. I can't remember the other teams who came in '69. But one of those teams eventually became the Milwaukee Brewers. But when it first came out, it was known as the Seattle Pilots. So Lou Piniella was an original member of the Seattle Pilots, and here's a fantastic card showing Lou Piniella in his Seattle Pilots uniform. I just thought that was a really cool dichotomy there. And then lastly, some of you may not even recognize this one, but I love people who are famous as managers. And you forget that they were players completely, because there's a great card of Cito Gaston, manager of the Blue Jays when they won back-to-back World Series in '92, '93. I'm surprised he never got more jobs. I'm not sure if he's even alive anymore, but I'm surprised he didn't have more jobs in baseball if he could take the team to 2 World Series. But take a look at this one. Clarence Gaston of the Padres on his '73 card. Cito Gaston did have a lengthy career, not lengthy, but he was in baseball for a while. And you just don't remember when you have a guy like Cito Gaston who was such a great manager and had a mediocre career as a player, you sometimes forgot they even had baseball cards back then. So I thought that was a great thing to look at. So those are a couple things I wanted to show you, a couple cool cards. Hope you enjoyed that. Please consider liking, subscribing, commenting, all that fun stuff. Don't forget the trivia question. Who was the first reliever to win an MVP award? Name, team, and year. And I'll send you that cool Rivera card. See, we got a little moon in the back, I think, calling him the Sandman, so to speak. But anyway, something to think about. All right. Thanks for taking time to watch my show. Have a nice day. Take care.